My health, God has been so faithful and so good, and it. I'm not going to say it hasn't been a long year and a half, but I did go through the chemo treatments that they recommended.
Today we're with Debbie, our executive director, and we're going to be discussing the weekly emails that you might have been receiving in your inbox, some ministry updates, and then also we'll be sharing lastly, so stick around to the end. We'll be talking about her health, how she's doing, and so thanks for sitting down.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
Very good. So let's go into the weekly prayer email that we've been sending out for the past, month or so.
Yeah. Well, it has, it's been a vision and something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I stole this from a affiliate in Idaho, and every week I would get her emails, and I just felt so connected to what was going on in her ministry. And I thought, oh, this would be awesome. Number one, to ask for prayer from our community, but also to be able to keep everybody in the know of what's going on in the ministry and the praises and the requests. And so it's been a stretch for me to be able to put everything together and to collect my thoughts on paper. But it also has been a blessing because I've been able to reflect personal things, but also ministry things. So I'm excited. When the first one went out and Nolan told me that there was about a 45% open rate, I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
That's quite good.
Yes. And so each week I'm now collecting requests from the staff and also praises, and then adding things for the board. So we're really excited. I pray that it is a blessing to the people who are opening it, and that they're able to also be able to know what to pray about. Prayer is our number one core value. So we're putting our feet to our faith, or just to be able to have people praying on a constant with specifics, I guess is what I want to say. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can actually, if you're not interested in email, you can always, if you open the email, you can download the PDF version of it, and you can print it and just have it, whenever you pray. So yeah, it's a really cool resource. Mm-hmm. So what are some updates from the ministry that you feel like would be relevant to the community, other than so many?
Yeah. Do we have all day? No. Just, for the past year, we have been just adjusting to life after COVID, and also refining. And so it's been very cool to see. It's some of it's been a little painful, because when you start to refine things, you have to go through the things that are sometimes working well, but try to figure out, what can we do to make this better? And then sometimes what can we do without it? We may have to completely cut it out. And so that's always, it's a blessing, but it also it's hard. And so we've been doing that in many areas of the ministry, the clearinghouse especially, which is where everything happens. It's where our neighbors begin that first connect. And so those processes have been worked on by Sharon Flory, our clearinghouse coordinator, and some of her volunteers. And so it has just really been, challenging sometimes, because we want to get it right and we want to do what's best to start that relationship with neighbors. But it's also been very cool, because what is coming out of it, I think, is really, really good. And we're going to be able to serve more people in our community and engage more churches, because the opportunity in the clearinghouse is going to be greater.
Sure. So the process will just be overall easier for people to go through, so that at the very beginning, the onboarding process, it can be a little more streamlined and everything like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've struggled over the past 9 years on how to, how many times to serve a neighbor, how many times to, how can we connect them to a lot of resources. And And as we've grown, we've realized that, you know, I'll back up a little bit. There's a book called Toxic Charity that we have been, as a staff, we went through during our staff meetings. And it really helped us to be able to focus on how many times to serve a neighbor before it gets to that place where we're actually harming them instead of helping them.
The idea of creating dependence versus participation.
Absolutely.
Working with
Absolutely.
rather than doing for.
Yeah. So we had a very complex, intimate application, and now we're looking at having a little bit simpler application, more simplified, and going deeper as the neighbor goes deeper. So that's exciting, but it has taken, we've had to let go of some things, but we've also been able to add some things. So we're excited about what that's going to look like.
Good. Yeah. Very good. So that's an exciting thing.
One of the other things that I'd like to talk about, and a lot of people know about our stores, but a lot of people don't realize what the amount of ministry that can go on those stores. And I had the blessing of being at the store and draft for several months, and it is just, it is the opportunity to be right in our community, and the opportunity to minister to people, either through, yes, goods are always great, those treasures that people come in for, but also just for prayer, for getting to know people. I can remember praying with different ones that came in that were getting ready to have surgeries, and were having many health challenges and other things. And it's like, if we can look at the stores as not just a place to serve, to put out products, but as a place to be able to connect with those in our community and love on them and minister to them, then I believe that the stores are going to continue to evolve as a place of ministry versus just a place of let's sell things. Sure. Yes, we have beautiful things to sell, but we also have the opportunity to be right in the community. Both stores. I've walked into TFL many times and seen people praying with people, and just heard the comments of customers say, we've never had this happen before. So when you think about volunteering at a store, don't think about just, I'm going into retail. It's not retail, it is a ministry. So we're excited, and we want to deepen that a little bit. With the help of volunteers, we would love to see even Bible studies going on with people in the community that maybe aren't connected to a church right now. The opportunity is it's limitless. Absolutely. We just have to think outside the box and not just be, we're going to help in a retail store. No, that's not what it is.
Sure. If anybody wants to hear a story about that, Pastor Bruce has a story about a gentleman who he helped, who he met through a gathering place, and then was able to walk with and help out, actually get a job and get a little bit more stable. Mm-hmm. So that's on our YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out for whatever it's worth. Any other updates you want to share?
Yeah, last thing is the Loving Your Neighbor program, and it is a part of our transformational ministry, and we have not been able to get that thing kicked off since COVID, but it looks like it's going to launch on September 14th. So be praying for us as the ever-changing environment with the COVID and everything else. We're really just praying that this is going to happen. So we're really excited. We have neighbors that are just desiring to be there, and volunteers too. So be in prayer for that, because we need that.
Right. And yeah, we need that. Neighbors need that. Especially, all of us have that inbuilt desire for connection, and that's Absolutely. What church a lot of times gives us, but sometimes neighbors don't feel comfortable walking into a church. So
Absolutely.
The go-between, not even a go-between, but a really great,
avenue yes.
is the LYN program
Absolutely.
For a place of community and connection, and where they can get connected afterwards to a church and that kind of thing. So very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the last thing I want to share about is, how much I want to thank this community for investing in this ministry financially, with product donations, with Loving Your Neighbor voucher donations. And I did just want to give a little update about our 2 days of giving. We as a ministry chose back in 2013, 8 years ago, to not do actual fundraising. And so we do what's called 2 days of giving and then the end of year giving. And these are the main time we come to the community and say, hey, can you support us financially? And we are so happy to say that we had $31,134 donated in those 2 days with 85 different donors. And that makes me as excited as the amount, because that means that people decided, hey, I want to invest in this ministry. So we're very, we just want to thank you. Thank you for investing in us. And so there's lots of other little updates, but they will be found on the prayer sheet, the prayer covering sheet. So please take a look at that. Take time to read it, and
Yep. And if you wanted to sign up for that, go to our website. On the front page, scroll down a little bit, and just type in your email address and subscribe to the. It says, I think, newsletter, but you'll get that. So, all right. Lastly, but definitely not definitely most important. About to say not most important. Your health. Whatever. No. Your health. How are things going? I think we left off last time that you were going to be pursuing. I think it was radiation. Was it chemo and radiation, or just radiations?
I can't remember. I was actually trying to remember when the last time, but I actually think it was when I was just getting ready to start chemo. Yep. And my health. God has been so faithful and so good. And I'm not going to say it hasn't been a long year and a half, but I did go through the chemo treatments that they recommended. And, other than a few side effects, I've come through so well. And then I did pursue the radiation, which was those 30 days were probably some of the hardest days. And I don't know why. Maybe it was just me, psychologically having to go to the hospital every single day. But that went well. And the last thing that we had is had a scan here about a month and a half ago. Everything looks good. And so I am praising the Lord. Been in Romans here recently, and the one thing that it's Romans 8:31, and it says, if God's for us, who can be against us? And that's what I've been saying. Man, you are for me, and you're not done with me yet. I'm excited to see, what he's going to do in the next, few months. I do have a few more treatments. They're called immune therapy treatments, and I get those infusions every 3 weeks. I have one tomorrow, and then I'll be glad when those are done, and I don't have to see anybody for another year. So yes, it is amazing, and I am very thankful. The last thing that I want to say before we turn off is I do ask for prayers for you guys. Many of you know that we lost our daughter to ovarian cancer, and the season that's probably the hardest for me with grief is coming up. September's her birthday, October is when she passed, and then in, of course, the holidays. So this is our 3rd year without her, and I wish I could say, oh, it's getting so much easier, but it's not. That's one of the things about grief that I'm learning, that, it may get not as, like taking your breath away, but it's still there. So just prayers for the season coming up. It is difficult, and but I have an amazing support team, amazing church, amazing staff, and I know that we will get through another year, and then one day I will be there with her. And so until he's finished, I'm going to keep on going and see how many people we can take with us.